Hey guys, how are you guys doing? I hope you're well. My side, I got some obstacles thrown in my way. As you can see, I'm a little bit sickness going on. Pretty fun times, especially if you're like 4 weeks out from your first pro race. So yeah, there were some things happening family-wise, health-wise, so I knew there would be extra stress causing, and I slowed down the training, upped my vitamins, tried to sleep, eat, do all the things, but the body is a machine and sometimes it just picks something up and wants a bit of extra rest. So that's what's happening right now. But I want to do this video. First, this is about the journey. So all parts of the journey, the rosy times when you smash good sessions is part of it, but also the side when things are not going your way. And you see it a lot happening right now with people in the sport, especially a good example is probably Alistair Brownlee. That poor guy has a lot of things going on. So in comparison to that, it's of course a joke. So I want to guide you a little bit through my process, through the different stages, how I cope with this now, a little bit sickness and just before, and it's not ideal obviously, but like how I cope with it. So this morning I cope with it with a proper little freak out and a little rage attack, because that is not what you want, and but that's just sometimes life, right? So I really, within half an hour, I really calm myself again and try to like control the controllables, right? So I got all kinds of extra things from the pharmacy, all kinds of stuff, as you can see, honey for the throat, to clear the nose and all that stuff, and vitamins. But that's something actually I have to look for now as a pro, is I can't just take everything, right? Cough medicine, for example, or even when you're in a hospital, when you take an IV, that stuff you can't just take anymore, right? I think my wife worked with the Olympic ice hockey team for a long time. The doctors from there said basically, unless you're dying as a pro, more or less, you shouldn't be taking an IV because of anti-doping and all the regulations for that. So I have to be very careful what I take. Same with protein pulver. I have to know it's kind of certified, and that's the highest chance of not having any crap in it. I also wear the Oura ring for some data, and I wear it every single night, not during the day, because I feel, especially with swimming during the day, it's just annoying me. I want the data for the night. It's pretty good, but it has its limitations. For example, already 2-3 days before the ring showed any signs, I knew that before, I had it many times before, the data doesn't show, for example, low HRV when you're feeling off. Maybe some bodies have it, I don't have it, only when it's really like 4 days down the line. Now, for example, the body showed, okay, resting heart rate is higher, way higher than usual. Average heart rate through the night, way higher than usual. HRV crashed, and actually this thing also matters. Temperature was risen, so body's obviously fighting something. But king is still body feel. Getting back to it is body feel, and actually, so how am I gonna tackle this? First, of course, you have to control the mind. That's something that's really tricky, because it easily drifts into the future. But now again, I went like monk mode. So really just focus on the present. You don't know how your body is going to be tomorrow, the day after that. You can just make a rough prediction, but don't go to drift. The race is going to be cancelled. This and this time you're not going to perform. You have to really control it and really make sure you stay in the moment. Do everything you can, like in a triathlon, do everything you can to stay in the moment and do the best you can. That means resting, sleeping, hydration, and all the rest that I'm doing. Also some inhalation to keep the air and throat fine and working, and that's all I can do. So I think if you're in a negative spiral and really go down in a stress mode, and that's not what you want when you're already sick. So keep a positive mindset, do everything you can in the moment, just like when you're training, do the best you can, recover as good as you can, get everything in, and then I hope I'm back to full health in no time. So there's one last thing I want to share with you guys, something I had an idea of, and that is my own Discord channel, and I'll tell you exactly why. For you guys who don't know what Discord is an app. It's made normally for voice channel to talk to each other, but it's very often used to chat to each other, basically a WhatsApp, but you can have different threads and topics. And the reason why I want to make one is that, yes, triathlon is a very lonely sport for most people. Especially, I've been in several different countries in triathlon clubs, and what I noticed is, especially the beginners, when you start, you're still in a group, you join group trainings and everything, but once you start to have more goals, get more ambitious, you get a coach, you pay a coach, and then by doing that, you want to do the coach's plan because you know it's just tailored for you, and oftentimes that causes us to not join group sessions, not do things because you're type A most likely, or ambitious, have your goals, you want to finish your first triathlon, want to get to Kona, whatever it is. So it can be quite lonely, I know it for myself. The Discord channel is called the Athlete Penthouse. There's a link in the description below to join for free, obviously. Also Discord is for free, super easy to install for Android, or you can have it on desktop as well. There's also an app for it. So what is the Athlete Penthouse Discord channel and why should you join it? I mean, there are a few Discord channels out and about, and yes, a community, but they were basically like social media and you just don't talk with strangers or random people just like that. That's not the idea of it. The idea is to get better together. For example, my specialty, which I want to help you with for free, is a sports physiotherapy and sports medicine sector. They have a lot of experience in, so that's kind of my specialty as a background with sports physio, years of work on a high level, and also build a business case on it that worked really well. So I want to help you with that. For example, I noticed a lot of patients came to me back then and still do, to my wife, she's a physio here in Finland, that just come too late. I mean, I know the steps. First you have to go to a doctor, sometimes you have to pay, and you kind of just avoid this niggle until it really is something. And once it is something, it just takes longer to get back. One of the topics you can write in your problems is injury and health. So you can just write in, hey, I got this little niggle in my calf. Do you guys have any experience what to do with that? And in that sector, I can really help you with, and I can say, hey, this is something you should maybe get checked out by a doctor. You need maybe an MRI, or hey, you can try this and this and this. Let me know in a few days how you follow up. I just had one of the cases actually with he wrote me on Instagram, he had Achilles issues, preparing for his first Ironman. It worked really well and he's back to running and back to preparing for Ironman. Then another one, which is sometimes forgotten, is the mind. There will be one part as well. Psychology, there we can share and, for example, also be open always to write, hey, this is a problem where I cracked probably. I kind of blew up mentally in this part. I struggle with this. These are the fears I have in swim, bike, run. How do I tackle it? How do I get better? That's the overarching idea of the channel, that we get better together. No judging, no toxicity. Anything negative, anybody negative will be immediately kicked. Yes, discussions are open and different opinions obviously, but no negative will be allowed in any way. So you can be open, you can share your fears on a psychology wise, or your problems health wise you can share. We can come together in our different specialties and say, for example, maybe somebody's a psychologist of you guys and you can really help out with techniques that worked for you, or you had a similar problem in the past with psychology that that really hinders your performance of getting better, and we can share together and get better together. And the last idea I had in there was data nerds. So I started sharing my data of my training in there. We can discuss things, how we got there, how I got to a certain level, how I got to Kona back then, what did I do. There are lots of guys of you who probably want to go to Kona, have been to Kona, and I felt, for example, in triathlon clubs, like I said, many times there's a small group of fitter top guys who kind of don't come to the training anymore. They're kind of the 4 or 5 best guys in the club. You probably know it. And they do their own thing. You can't really talk to them many times anymore to like, hey, how did you actually get there? And the simple questions of like, what did you do to get to this level? I don't think they're asked enough. And those questions we can share with each other. And even if you have a full-time job and have a lot going on with your family, how can you do your 10 hours training, 15 hours training, 17 hours training? How can you do them optimal as possible from each other's experience? Not training plan, you most likely have a coach. If not, we can probably help each other with basic setups without paying anything. Then lastly, I also open up a Patreon page. True to being a rookie triathlete, finances are looking grim. This is part of the journey. I know Craig Alexander, for example, slept in his bike case when he went to races. So I'm happy for any support. That's it for me today. I'm gonna hit the couch again and I hope you guys are well. Join the Discord channel, it's free. Let's chat, let's build a nice community together of like-minded people and let's get better together.